All right, folks. Good morning and thanks for joining us. We are coming to you live from Congo Town this morning, right here at the headquarters of Lone Star Cell MTN, and also right here at the LBDI Bank. But right behind us is the party headquarters of former ruling CDC. And this morning, police are gearing up and they are executing this morning the warrant, of course, to evict the Congress or Coalition for Democratic Change here from their famous party headquarters. This has been forthcoming for months and time now, and as you can see this morning, we have hundreds of riot police officers who are gathered here this morning to carry out that particular evasion. But if you can look behind me, what you're looking at this morning is reaction from partisans, of course, within their party headquarters. And this morning, you're hearing sounds of them beating drums. You're seeing them lighting fire right in front of the party headquarters, including they're burning tires, they're burning chairs, anything possible right here at the front of the party headquarters. So right behind us, we have several security apparatus. We're talking about the joint security. We're seeing folks from the National Fire Service. We're seeing folks from the Emergency Response Unit. We're seeing folks from the Liberia National Police, in fact, itself, PSU, ERU, you name the various police detachments making up the National Joint Security. They're here this morning and they will be executing that eviction. Now, come to think of it, speaking of the eviction process from the party headquarters of the CDC, this has been forthcoming. The case involved the wife of a former legal advisor to His Excellency President George Weah, Councillor Archie Boan's wife, who is now deceased, but it's being told that this particular property belongs to Lebanese. But the case has been in court, and the owners of the property have won the case, and they've asked that the government of Liberia assist them to evict the Coalition for Democratic Change or the Congress for Democratic Change, the famous CDC, from this famous party headquarters here in Congo Town. We'll go a little closer and flash the camera and show you what's happening this morning as it relates to this particular eviction from here in Congo Town. Now, if you look this way, right here on my right hand side, you see a huge you see police officers all in their various positions awaiting any action. Of course, from what it looks like, there is going to be action because of what is happening right here at the front of the party headquarters. You're seeing they're burning tires, they're burning anything possible, and they're making sounds, beating drums, and also throwing threatening statements from across the compound at the police officers who are here at the front of the party headquarters. Just listen closely. Now, that's the front of the party headquarters for you. But speaking of the presence of police, if this number of police officers is not sufficient enough, let's go on the other end and show you what we have. Hundreds of them are gearing up already. Follow me, Aaron. So if you're hearing from the compound of the CDC, you're hearing those threatening statements, threatening police officers, but this is what the entire road looks like currently. Just let's focus on the road. This is what the entire road looks like currently. There are no vehicles plying this particular location currently as we speak. The police have created a barricade from the old road junction right before getting at the famous Invisible Sports Park. The police have created a barricade, and then from the other end, this way, Aaron, from the other end, the Catalyst Junction end currently, there is also a barricade. So there are no vehicles plying this particular location right between Lone Star Cell, Town, Blue Crest University. All between here, there are no vehicles plying. This particular vicinity is locked down as we speak. The vehicles now will be using the Calic Junction in, and then they're using the old road in to come off right here at the Invincible Spokespark before making their way to town. So wherever you're driving from this morning, we are urging that you do not use this particular vicinity because of what we are looking at. There has not been anything like throwing tear gas or throwing stones at each other yet, but what we are looking at could eventually get into that. You're seeing fire. They are still breaking chairs, they're still burning tires, and we are seeing police officers are deploying now. From what you're looking at, you're seeing this long queue of officers. There might be, in fact, they are heading across the road. Aaron, can you focus the camera? This long queue of police officers is heading across the road, and this entire vicinity is highly secure. There are police cars moving from one end of the road to the other. Police cars moving from one end of the road to the other. If you look behind me, there's another police vehicle moving from this end. Now you're seeing that huge detachment of officers. They are going across the road. In fact, they are going very close to the fence area. Let's give it a try and see. Let's show those who are watching. This camera should have light. 1 second. So guys, now let's go closer, please, quickly. Let's go closer, guys. The officers, as you can see, they are getting into the compound. As you can see, police officers are jumping the fence now this morning. They are making their way into the compound. There you have it. Police officers jumping the fence, making their way into the compound. And if you look closely, Aaron, come a little closer. If you look closely, the folks are running a helter-skelter in the compound. If you look closely, if we can zoom in a little bit, the folks are running helter-skelter within the compound. And then these officers have already made, this is the final one here. He's going to jump the fence. All right. The first batch of tear gas has already been thrown. Aaron, let's go. The first batch of tear gas has already been thrown. The first batch of tear gas has already been thrown. I got to be close. You got to be closer to me so we get sound. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Now the officers, don't go too close. The officers are going in. They're going in. They are going in. A huge number of police presence here, guys. Huge number of police presence. They are going in. There you go. Focus on the fence itself. The officers are going in. They are making their way into the compound already. Along with the sheriff. And these are the sheriffs right here. And these are the sheriffs, yes. The folks in the brown are uniform are the sheriffs. They are removing the gate. They're removing the gate. They're making their way in there. And Aaron, we're going to try as much as possible to make sure we can give it a spy and be a little safer. Let's take it easy. Let's take it easy. Now the officers have removed the gate. This is a huge fire right here. This is a huge fire right here at the gate. And now the officers are about to extinguish the fire. The officers are about to extinguish the fire. The fire truck is making its way here. Fire service truck is making its way here. It's about to extinguish the fire this morning. So there you have it. Let's give it a try, Aaron. Let's see if we can give it a try. We can run right back in case of anything. But the officers are already into the compound. A huge number of them. A huge number of police officers are already into the compound of the famous CDC to undertake this eviction. Let's go that way. Let's go that way. There you have it. They are spreading. They are spreading out. They're spreading out. There's another group here. There is one group here in the compound. There's another group there on the other end. Right here. It's confirmed now that police officers are already into the compound of the CDC. They are yet to approach the actual party headquarters itself, but there are partisans who are over there. If you look closely, now they will move. The officers are now moving. They are now moving into the headquarters itself. Is the light on? Yes, okay. Now they're moving towards the building, guys. If they are all over the compound, if you look that way, there's another group of them. If you look this way, there's another group of them. There you have it. There's action that way. Let's go there closely. Quickly, let's go there. There is action that way. And they are. Now, this is peaceful from what it looks like. From what it looks like, the officers Now the officers are asking them to remove their stuff peacefully, and they are telling them not to hurry, take their own time. And there is no one attacking any police officer from what it looks like. There you have it. Now you heard the officer, take your time, pack your things and leave. If you show the camera there, you see the lady trying to get her things off. The lady is trying to get her things off. There has been no resistance yet. There's no resistance yet from anyone. There is no resistance yet. You want to focus the camera in there? It's up to you. Now the officers are asking the residents to use the main gate. You heard it. So there are two ladies who are already departing the HQ. So this is one point where we've seen folks getting their stuff out already. But let's get to the actual party headquarters itself, where the police officers are. They're now making their move. They're now making their move for the actual party headquarters itself. And you hear the sound, move, 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 move. Now, Aaron, we have to come a little backward. Now, show the camera. If you look, you know the famous CDC building. This is it. We are right before it. And the officers themselves are right before it. And the sound is move, 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 move. And then from one group to the other. And then EPS, let's go that way. EPS, all of the residents who seem to have organized to resist the police. Now the officers are going eventually in the back. And they're spreading. If you look closely in the neighborhood, there are guys running helter-skelter. There are folks running helter-skelter. If you look closely in the neighborhood. Now there has been a retaliatory action from what it looks like. There's what looks like stones being thrown. And they're passing instructions around. They are now going at the back. And Aaron, we have to be very strategic and very cautious of how we are now. The sheriff's right here. If you look closely. These are the sheriff. And they are all moving in teams, separate teams. But if you let's show the camera back, Aaron, behind you. If you can show the camera back behind me, if you look closely, it's the headquarters of the famous CDC, former ruling coalition for democratic change. If you see, the compound is completely empty, except at the main gate also, where there's a huge fire at the entry. And this entire compound now is crowded with police officers. From what it looks like, they are making efforts already to evade the place. We've seen the first action of several ladies being told to get their belongings and walk out of the headquarters quietly, with no resistance from any of them. Currently, as we speak, the police officers are in the back. We want to give it a try and see if we can. Let's just go around them. We can. Now they're calling the sheriffs. Let's see. The sheriffs are moving in now. The sheriffs are moving in now. Along with a few officers. Let's hang in there. Take it easy. The sheriffs are now moving in. Especially in the back. Especially in the back. Now we don't know what is anticipated here, but can you come out? We don't know what is anticipated here. We don't know what is anticipated here. We should expect the worst, especially with what we've noticed with the burning of tires, throwing of stones. This environment is in a place where you don't expect any retaliatory action. With due respect to the former ruling establishment, it was said by the national government and the police that they anticipated full cooperation this morning from authorities of the CDC. Now, and this is what you're looking at this morning in the compound of the Coalition for Democratic Change. The first team has gone towards the back of the headquarters to execute what looks like the eviction warrant or the eviction of the former ruling establishment from its party headquarters. This giant-sized, huge environment with several structures erected by the party over the years, they still stand here. There is full electricity. There are makeshift structures also in the compound, like you see one of them right here. So right now, the first team has gone at the back of the headquarters. Well, we have not been given the green light to go there along with them, so we have to keep it tactical. All right. Okay. There is what looks like retaliatory action. We've seen officers moving helter-skelter, breaking through into the party headquarters. Now, come on, Aaron, let me show this portion of the eviction. Yeah. If you come a little closer. Now, folks, on this other end of the compound, this is another team. And this end of the compound has the property of former legal advisor to His Excellency former President George Weah. If you look closely, that gate you are looking at is the compound of Mr. Archie Boan, former legal advisor to President George Weah. He's the actual person with whom this controversy, if I may call it that way, is actually happening. We are informed that this property belongs to the Bernards, and of course his late wife Martha Bernard also. And but behind us is his compound. Now, these structures that you're looking at here, the officers have already entered into them, and they are asking folks to evade the place. As you're seeing them, they're knocking. You're hearing them. Please come outside. Please come outside. Police. There's nobody in there from what it looks like. Everywhere here appears to be very empty, guys. It appears that everywhere here is very empty. The police officers are doing their check from one room to the other. Now, this team is responsible. This team is responsible to look after the portion where the road leads to the famous Bernards Beach. If you know the famous Bernards Beach, this road leads to the famous Bernards Beach. Now the team is moving in another direction. There is another team reserved to be in this location. So they will go around the yard. They will go around the yard. Now, they've created a barricade. They've created a barricade.
This exercise was announced yesterday by the police from a graduate cleaner
So there you have it, folks. There you have it. The court obviously handed down their ruling for the eviction of the CDC party headquarters. So there you have it. This team is making its way already around the compound. Aaron, follow me. Let's use this way. It's safer here.
The sheriffs are also present. Putting Dempster in charge of this property. Yesterday, CDC's chairman, Sanga Cole, said the party going to the peace and
Still knocking. Still knocking. So from the officers, they aren't here to arrest anyone. They're only here to make sure that folks can get their stuffs out and depart the grounds of the CDC. As the property will now be handed over to Dempster. So now the officers will engage this structure. Now if you look behind this building, this is the back of the CDC party headquarters. Aaron, if you stand here, the officers are now moving in that direction. You see the number of them, they're moving in that direction. There are lots of structures here at the back of the headquarters of the CDC, makeshift structures. You can call them zing rounds or focus. And the sheriff is stepping the doors open. But it appears all of these shops and structures are quite empty. The folks must have already taken out everything. So there you have it. All of the smaller shops are literally empty. It appears the folks might have departed. Majority of them have left the environment already. So it appears that this entire compound now has the presence of police. Complete police presence here in at the grounds of the CDC. Several teams spread across the party headquarters coming from all locations. Coming from the Congo Town end, there are police officers in that direction. Coming from the Bonas Beach end, there are almost 3 teams deployed. Coming from town at the Oro Junction, there are several teams deployed. Coming from Catholic Junction area, there are several teams deployed. And this entire environment actually, I can say, has been barricaded, and you can't make your way in here easily because the police have barricaded at this particular location. Vehicles cannot drive in this direction as we speak. And now the sheriffs have opened another location, and it appears this place is also empty, so they will not go in there. There's nothing in there. Literally, like I keep saying, lots of the shops and the structures have been cleared by those who were occupying them. But there you have it. The sheriffs will make their way in there. And right behind the headquarters, there's also a community, and the officers are entering into the community to ensure the safety of the citizens there also. Now, there are, as you look in there, this looks like an area where beverages might have been. If you look closely, there's a crate, an empty crate. They're taking mattresses. Mattresses. Everything is being thrown. There you have them. They're removing the rocks from the floor, putting out mattresses. Putting out the mattresses. All right, there's a. Let's go. 1 second, please. Thank you. So right here, there is a back gate. There is a back gate that leads into the neighborhood. It has been locked, and the police are trying to. You want to go in there? Yes. Okay. Just hold on. Come on. The police are trying to remove the back gate here at the entry to the neighborhood, the small town community, if you know this place. Now let's show you in one of the areas. As you can see here, you only have these turning flat looking mattresses and just a plastic chair, and it looks like now there you have it. The police officers have cracked, or they're still cracking the gate open. This is the back entry of the neighborhood. This particular entry leads you directly into the small town community here in Congo Town and goes strictly at the beach, the Bonas Beach end in the neighborhood. So let's see if we can take the camera and show you some of the items that have been put up by the police. If you go closely to the floor, you will see mattresses, bags, you know, you name it. But most of these places where we are currently, careful, Aaron. Yeah, so right here, if you look closely, there's another mattress right here on the floor. Just come on.
Yeah. Please come outside, yeah? Come outside, there's the police. Come outside, don't move. Yeah, come. Yeah, come, there's the police, yeah? There's the police. Come outside, yeah? Yeah.
Don't be scared, yeah? The sheriff and the police.
Yeah. You take your slippers and come outside, yeah? Take your slippers and come outside, yeah?
All right, so there's one guy. He appears quite afraid, but the police officers will not, according to the officers, they will take their own time. And this place doesn't smell good, actually. So we'll go to the next location. All right. So the officers have asked this fellow to stay in his position. Yes, if you show the camera closely, there's another structure here. There's another structure. It's been abandoned. So yes, of course, there's another room here. And if you look on the wall, you obviously see campaign flyers. And if you look in there, look what looks like junk also. But it appears this is one place where folks might have been residing. But the sheriffs are still putting the things out. Let's go in that direction and show the folks.
So this guy apparently said
so the sheriffs are still moving from door to door, trying to break the doors open. The sheriffs are still moving from door to door to break the doors open. So they've already opened this one. They're making their way in there. So the exercise, the eviction exercise is obviously ongoing, folks. And the officers are still throwing stuff out. This is another mattress. It's another mattress. The folks are still throwing stuff out. Leave the way. Another mattress being brought out, adding to several of them that have been thrown out here by police already. Clearing the place, police officers clearing the entire vicinity. And if you look closely on the floor, there are lighters. There are lighters. It looks like a handcuff patch, of course. But if you come a little closer, let me show you to the floor.
okay, this time they already.
Lighters. One, two lighters. There's another one there. There's another one here. Several of them. But of course, the police. These are the sheriff themselves who are taking out the stuff from the rooms. It's the sheriff themselves. And now the sheriffs will leave. They're still throwing stuff out.
So the eviction process is on.
That's another room. So let's go in there. And of course, the sheriffs are executing the court order. They're here on the order of the court. And of course, they're now throwing stuff out as it was made clear to residents of this particular vicinity that they will not be occupying these premises. So there you have them. They are still throwing luggages out.
Follow me quick. Follow me. Heron, follow me.
All right, so folks, there you had it. Officers still throwing stuff out. The sheriffs from the court executing the court order. Executing the court order this morning. And they've been guided by police officers who have joined them to carry out this particular task this morning. So, folks, we are going from one room to the other, one push to the other, and the sheriffs are so basically they are yet to have access to the main party headquarters itself, the edifice, but they are in the environment, they are in the compound already. But they have Aaron, if you just show the camera here, right behind us here is the main building itself, this one. But the police officers or the sheriffs are yet to make their way in there. So let's show you basically they're just targeting smaller structures around the building itself before entering into the yes. So let's show you at the back here. Also there is low. Still have huge police presence and huge police presence. The officers are trying to so the police are trying to rescue one of these fellows who have thrown himself into the water. He, out of fear, he has thrown himself into the water. And the officers are now trying to see if they can have him rescued. If you look closely, and if you hear from his voice, he's very cold.
Hold it now, hold it. You hold it? Hold it. Hold it. Come. Hold it. Come. Okay, come. Hold it. Hold it. You hold it. Who are you? You hold it already? You hold it?
So you hear.
Be coming.
Aaron, can you focus on them? The officers. So those are the officers. As you can see, they have thrown a rope. They have thrown a rope to him. And he's trying to hold. They're trying to pull him by holding a rope. But he's coming.
Hold it. Hold it. Come. Hold the rope. Who are you? Hold the rope.
So.
Hold it. You have the rope in front of you.
Well. So there you have it. They are pulling him. The officers are pulling him to safety. I think he ran into the. Focus on them.
Go. Let's go.
So he was quite afraid and threw himself into the water. So he has been rescued, and the officers are taking him to safety. So they are basically taking him to safety after he was rescued by the police, and so they're going to sit him right next to this previous fellow. So there you have it. Two individuals who have been basically taken in by the police. The previous fellow, you heard it from him, Aaron, he was asleep. and he was unaware of the eviction. So the officers obviously have said they do nothing to him, but just to make sure he's safe. The other fellow threw himself into the water, and the police themselves had to save him. All right, so the sheriffs are still moving in their various locations here. There's another structure that they're about to target, as you can see. So folks, they are still throwing stuff out. If you can go a little closer, there's another building here, still throwing stuff out. If you go to the other end, the sheriffs are moving from one end of the building to the other. All right. So, folks, wherever you're watching and following us from, you are following the eviction process here. The eviction order by the courts has been executed by the sheriffs and the Liberian National Police. And if you are watching us now, we are in the headquarters of the CDC. That's the Coalition for Democratic Change. And this place looks obviously like somewhere where food might have been sold. They're breaking out tables, they're throwing out plastic chairs. They're throwing out everything, anything possible out of these structures. So, folks, the eviction continues. The eviction continues. And we are yet to see any retaliatory action. Though this morning, once we arrived, we noticed, obviously, the presence of young people here in the headquarters of the CDC who were burning tires at the entry. But they've all fled the party headquarters. They've all fled the party headquarters. So basically now, we're only seeing the property being, or the folks being evicted from the property this morning. We still see a huge presence of police. And so the police officers, the court sheriffs are already here into the headquarters of the CDC, and they are going from one structure to the other, breaking down doors and putting out stuff, chairs, tables, mattresses, you name it. So wherever you're watching, keep following us, keep watching LNTV. We're still here. Let's see if we can go at the other end of the compound and show you what the actions is like. The officers are trying to break into this structure that's right ahead of us here. And so this looks like a newly erected structure, and they've brought a tool to remove the lock. Has what looks like an iron gate, and there are folks from the fire as fire and rescue service who are carrying out this operation along with the police. And that door is being broken into. So there you have it, folks. Also, there's a lock in there.
Hey! No, we want to clean here. Put it broke down. Move on there, please. Yeah, move on there.
All right, so you heard it. The fire commandment, of course, obviously. So the folks. So you heard it. You heard him speaking to his officers from the National Fire and Rescue Service that they are only here to make sure there aren't any possibility of electrical shock by turning the breakers down and making sure they can turn off power. And then the sheriffs are the ones responsible to break into the buildings. It's not their responsibilities. So they are not doing that. They are not doing that. So there you have them. They are living, looking for where there's possible electricity connection, and they can turn down the breakers to make sure there are no power or what have you. But those are the folks from the National Fire and Rescue Service. And then while they're getting protection from the police, they're also playing their part. So we're hoping that once it gets a little clearer, we can go back and show you some of the places where we were showing you once it was dark. So let's see if we can go back in there and show you some of the places that are the folks. But right here, if you look closely, these are some of the belongings of presumed partisans who were occupying this place. You're seeing mattresses. You're seeing mattresses, and then if you look at these structures were also being used by partisans for businesses. But if we can come closer, there were also alcoholic beverages being sold here in this particular vicinity. This is what one of the shops looks like. If you look in here, this is what one of the shops looks like in there. If you just turn the light on, you're looking at chairs, plastic chairs, you're looking at tables, but most of these structures are just makeshift structures, temporarily erected from what it looks like. As you can see, if you look in there, they're all built using zinc, plywood. In the Liberian palette, you will say wawa. And then also there are these campaign flyers, tarpaulins, campaign billboards, flyers being used to erect these structures. So they are obviously makeshift structures. These are all temporarily built structure. But right here is the actual, what looks like a permanent structure that has been erected and has several compartments. If you can just look in here. If you look in there, there are folks residing there, and shoes all being thrown out by authorities. And so it's a long queue. This portion is where the residents were, and then if you look on the right hand side, what looks like the portion where goods were being sold, they all look like shops. So that's the back entry. Earlier we were there and the police actually cracked it open. But let's go back to where they are knocking and trying to open. And here we have what looks like another 3 to 4 bedroom compartment, fully solar, fully air conditioned also. But the police are trying to crack it open, or the sheriffs are trying to crack it open. So there you have it. So the sheriff will try to open. Interesting. The sheriff is now digging to make sure they can open this highly protected door.
fixing the wall and to get.
And so this place looks like it's quite reinforced with concrete, and it appears difficult for him to get access in there. But again, this is where we are. So, folks, like we've kept saying, there's not the presence of anyone. We've not seen any retaliatory action from anyone. Basically, this morning since we came, though we've seen the presence of, we've seen folks burning tires this morning at the front of the headquarters of the CDC. We've noticed the folks burning tires this morning at the front of the CDC headquarters. But again, we have not seen anything of such since the police started to execute the eviction order from the court. So the sheriff here is still trying his possible best to see if they can make their way in. But let's just show you around on what the presence of police looks like as compared to what it was this morning. Now,
Yeah, but what person go and bring it?
so the folks are still trying their possible best to see if they can crack this door open, but it appears to be quite difficult from what it looks like. I mean, the iron gate alone can tell you. This building looks like it looks highly secured from what I'm looking at. And most of the structures is one of the structures that has is fully AC. You know, it has if you look on the roof, it has a solar, an entire solar system attached to it. So probably it appears it could be one of the structures being occupied probably by one of the hierarchies of the party, or the CDC might have been using this particular structure for a purpose very significant for them to have made this very secure, for which it appears to be very difficult for the sheriff to crack into it. If you look closely, the concrete has been forced, and the iron gate, looks double and very difficult to crack for the sheriffs. Amongst several other structures, like the other structures that the sheriffs have broken into already. So he appears to be making some small efforts, but this is just the first layer from what it looks like. There's the actual door itself.
Sheriffs are run for their money. They've spent a lot of time trying to open this particular place. Having yet HQ building that's around George properties and buildings.
The DCD, the CDC.
Yes, children in the
Oh yeah, the CDC.
So, of course, it still appears that this door is obviously still giving the sheriff
That's what use my own. Got your phone?
so.
switch. So, folks, we've still seen.
So, folks, good morning. We are here at the headquarters of the former ruling CDC, where the civil law court at the Temple of Justice, presided over by Judge Dennis Smith, is in a room into the case. CDC versus the Stopperfield family, and the ruling went against the CDC, and currently the sheriff from the civil law court at the Temple of Justice currently carrying on the eviction order.
So now, after hours of banging, this fellow has now emerged.
Of course,
He was inside and was
after
asked
hours of
to
banging,
open this door. And
after hours of banging at the door, there is now a resident of the building. According to him, he has been locked up. He's been, according to him, they have locked the door and have taken the key. So the police spokesperson is engaging the person who claims to have been asleep, and so according to him, he didn't hear the banging from the sheriff, and he's now according to him, he has been asleep. He was asleep. Oh, a little closer.
Sleeping at home.
So I pass on that side to the officer. But the guy who has the key, he come to the car.
The guy who has a key, where is he? How do you unlock the door and carry a key and you're sleeping?
So, folks, we'll go to the entry. We are getting information of an excavator or a yellow machine being brought to break down some of these structures, but we are yet to see. So we want to go through but folks, just have a glance of what the compound looks like. You are seeing police officer, but behind us, this is the main headquarters, the main HQ building, but they have not touched it. Another group of sheriff, of course, as you can see at the main entry, are coming in there. But we just want to show you what the action looks like from the main entry, obviously. Now, with the barricade that have been created by the police, and we are looking at a load bay crossing along the road. This means obviously it might have brought probably an excavator or a bulldozer or something to maybe help execute this eviction. But let's make our way there and show you again. So the action here at the the main entry of the CDC keeps increasing eventually by the minute. There is a bulldozer right here at the main entry of the party headquarters. There is a bulldozer here at the main entry. So there you have it. If you look closely, folks, here on just a little minute, let me stand here behind us. As you can see, it's a bulldozer behind us. An excavator, of course, is right here at the entry, the main entry of the CDC. And so it appears this particular excavator is going to be used to probably bring down some of these structures as part of the eviction that is actually taking place. If you look closely, but let's go around here. If you look on the ground also, you will notice the remains of the tires that were being burnt by those. But let's show you right here at the main entry. So you look here, written on it, in the Chinese name, Long King excavator. What probably might be demolition, of course, of some of the structures, or it could be the main entry. I don't know if this is all part of the eviction, but obviously it will be used because I can guarantee you it wasn't brought to just stay here at the main entry of the CDC. So if you look on the floor, these are the spots of this particular excavator while making its way here. So like I told you earlier, there are no vehicles plying this particular location if you look closely. So once I saw a low bay driving in here, I knew right away there was an action taking place. If you look behind me, also coming from the Congo Town, and there are also no vehicles coming in this direction. There is a barricade as far as the Nigeria embassy, and there is another one ahead of us. If you look closely at the Oro Junction, somewhere closer to the home of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf or the famous Invincible Spokespark. But folks, the excavator is right here, and obviously now that the property is the eviction court order is being executed, we don't know if this excavator is being brought to remove this particular symbol and obviously put it down. From what it looks like, this is what is going to happen, but stick and stay with us. We're going to watch and see if that is exactly what is going to happen from where we stand currently. The folks are already up. If you notice, the driver of the excavator is already seated. He might probably be waiting for orders to execute whatever instructions he will get from his superiors. It could be bringing down the giant size CDC that you're looking at. What might be an end to the occupation of this particular environment by the former ruling establishment, the Coalition for Democratic Change. Wherever you're watching and following from this morning, as early as 5 to 4 a.m., 4 to 5 a.m. in fact, there were police officers on the grounds of the CDC this morning. We also witnessed retaliatory action from young people who were in the compound of the CDC, burning tires right here at the entrance. So currently what's happening now, the folks are refueling. So basically the folks are refilling the excavator, and once that is done, I want to assume they will be giving an instruction, because obviously they are here to execute an instruction. And once they are done refueling, let's all of us stick around and see what's going to happen eventually. but we are being told they were going to break down this particular gate or the entry that has the giant size CDC written on it. So, folks, see for yourselves the action this morning, the execution of the court warrant, or you can call it the eviction order from the courts. And on the other end, right here before the Lone Star Cell headquarters, there is a huge presence of police officers. Lots of them are the police chiefs. If you look closely, there are police vehicles and head of detachments are here. When I mention detachments, we're talking the joint security. In fact, we're talking the National Fire Service. We're talking the police support unit. We're talking the emergency response unit. Now the excavator has been powered on. The excavator has been powered on already, so it appears it's about to carry out whatever instruction it has been given. And so there you have it. He's going to swing it around, and it's now moving. It's now moving. Have a glance for yourself. Yeah. So he's going to take instruction from his superior. Have his door closed. Turn up his protective gears. He will turn on his protective gear, and he goes up. And of course, yes, like we predicted, he will obviously bring down the famous CDC. And there it goes. There it goes. There it goes, guys. You just witnessed the excavator breaking down the famous CDC mural or entry right here at the entry of the headquarters. See the actions for yourselves. And there he goes. All right. So that's it, folks. That's it. There you have the excavator has brought down the entire CDC, and it's making its way into the headquarters of the. It's making its way into what is now the former headquarters, or what now looks like the former headquarters of the famous CDC, and he's going to come in this other direction and clear. We will now clear the rubble from the floor. But we will now clear the rubble from the floor. And now look closely. We also still witnessing the arrival of top police officers. We cannot tell who is currently arriving. The action continues. There you have it. The excavator still cracking down the entry. There you have it. It will remove this other portion, breaking it down portion by portion, segment by segment. The previous one was already brought down. So there you have it. Giant-sized pillows, strong deep into the ground, are being brought down in an effort to honor an eviction order from the courts. And this excavator right before us here is also joining security apparatus and the sheriffs from the court to execute this eviction order. And there it goes. And there it goes. Another structure brought down here. Another structure brought down. And removing these giant-sized pillows from the ground. See the actions for yourselves, folks. See the actions for yourselves. Just a few minutes ago, we were in there and we were showing you sheriffs moving from one structure to the other. But now we have a yellow machine digging out the main entry that was bearing the logo and, of course, the inscription CDC brought down. So where are you watching us from? Where are you following from? Kindly leave your comments in the comments section. The eviction of the CDC from their party headquarters is finally taking place. Now there are more tools being brought in by sheriffs. As you can see, they are throwing more tools into the compound there, taking pingales, decals, shovels, you name it, jumping the fence also, in an effort to execute the eviction. So let's go. Chief, we want to go in there, we're going to break into the main HQ. So we want to show you what's going to be happening. Yes. We want to make our way in there quickly. Show you. So it appears they're about to break into the main HQ building. So we're going to make our way there and show you. So let's see if we can go a little closer. It appears the sheriffs are about to break into the main HQ building. So if that isn't the case, we're going to come right back, show you the action. But still in here, we're still seeing officers still in here in the compound. So we're going to go there. Let's go and just show you this famous building that was a little tough for the officers. It appears they've broken into it already. So let's see if we can show you so you have a glimpse of what's going on already. It took the sheriffs quite a long time to break into this place. So there you have it. There you have it. They're throwing stuffs out, and this one's to look a little organized. You're seeing the chairs out there. There are chairs and all of that. There. So there you have it. The cushion chairs being brought out. The chairs being brought out from this one building that was quite difficult for the police to have access to. And there you have it. They're bringing out freezers. And on an interesting end, the police officers having fun with one of the pets here. So they'll bring.
So the sheriff is calling for officers to go inside. Something illegal has been found.
They are now inviting police officers into the room. It appears that there might have been a discovery. We got to now focus on your camera, not the camera. Let's go in there.
Coming.
So we're going. So yes, this is actually for transparency, and we appreciate if the fellow out there doesn't shout at us the way he's doing it. He has to. We have to respect each other, please. So yes, let's just work together. We'll really appreciate if we work together. Fine, thank you. We don't have a problem once you get order. So we want to see what has been found by the officers. We're called in. Yes, of course, we are being told that this particular residence or this house where we find ourselves. So there is a box. There's a small box that has been formed, and we are being told it's a box of bullets in it. There you have it. And there you have it. There is a box that has bullets in it.
So there is a box that has.
This should be one of the handguns.
Alright, so we are being told
Because you keep calling.
Very clean box.
So folks, the National Police.
He refused to open the door.
Who shot him?
How you got there? How you got there? How you got there? When you from police were taking out, didn't you hear the police saying that you should come out? Who moved this house? At the early morning, you say you died. You said the house for you. Why you are doing that? What you doing there this early morning? How long have you been in this house? Did you stash anything away, sir? Why did you refuse to open the door? And now you start saying anything. He said he was holding the house and bullets.
So folks, the Monantech building, the famous vocational school here that was constructed by the CDC, is currently being brought down by the orders of the civil law court at the Temple of Justice in Monrovia, presided over by Judge Smith. So to finally, the civil law court at the Temple of Justice, the eviction order is currently been executed. This has been long overdue, and this case has lingered around the Temple of Justice for a couple of years now, since the court ruling. The lawyer representing the CDC also filed a petition before the Supreme Court of Liberia, and the Supreme Court of Liberia ruled and send the case back to the civil law court to resume jurisdiction. Now,
but now the building being brought down, as you can see from behind me, is the famous Monatech, building. This is the famous Monatech building. Well, Here, Missy. So there's a raffle that has been discovered. There is a raffle that has been discovered, and the police are trying to unwrap it. A raffle has been discovered by the police. A raffle. There's another raffle here. But you ain't gotta be testing it. This is evidence. Yeah, it's okay. I think that's another raffle. And the police are trying to unwrap it. The police are trying to unwrap it. This looks like a Winchester or a snapper, and this particular weapon was beneath the bed. It was beneath the bed. Two rifles being discovered already. What looks like a snapper rifle. Two weapons discovered already. Two weapons already discovered. Two rifles already discovered. There have been two rifles that have already been discovered by police. And the police will now secure them. There you have it. The officers, let's go this way there. Yeah, I'm hoping the officers will use hand gloves. I'm hoping. But these are two rifles. These are two rifles that have been discovered. So they are being taken out. And these do not look like and they both look brand new. Two rifles, these two rifles both look. Aaron, come close to this object. So two rifles discovered. Two rifles discovered by the police. Two rifles discovered by the police. Two rifles already discovered by the police. And while the rifles are being taken out, demolition continues. While the rifles are being taken out, demolitions continue. So while the rifles are being taken out, demolition of the compound continues. If you can see, there is one of the rifles in the back. There is one in the back. There is another one that is visible. What looks like a snapper has a monitoring mechanism on top of it, or a monitoring gear, if you might call it. I'm not experienced in weapons, but the police are going out with this one. So while the officers are while the officers are going out with these rifles, the demolition of the headquarters during the eviction continues. So there you have it. So these rifles are going to be taken in by the police. Earlier we also found a packet of bullets from handguns. So they will be submitted to head officers. So they are now being handed over to 102 brand new rifles. Two brand new rifles. There are also military boots. There are also security boots. A pair of military gear and security boots. Come here, Aaron. All right, all right. 102 says there are no further comments. So the rifles are being loaded into this pickup truck, where they will be. They are being disarmed. If you can notice, the officer will disarm these rifles, remove the bullets and what have you from in there. But amongst discovery we've made already, we've seen a pack of handgun bullets. We've also now seen two rifles, one lying on the floor on the side of the room, another one. Aaron, quick. There are also handguns, bullets from handguns that were found. The officers is trying to put them into the vehicle. So there you have it. He's just putting them on display, trying to make sure how many they are. And then there are also tie wraps. If you can see, there are also tie wraps. All of these are military gears that are used. And so the officers will protect these. And so, folks, the eviction continues. Yes, just we'll stay here. If you notice behind me, that vehicle that you're noticing is taking with it several arms and ammunition, if I may say it that way. We've seen the police discover two firearms, and they've also discovered ammunitions that's bullets belonging to shotguns. You just noticed one of the officers picking them up, and so the officers will have placed these weapons in that vehicle, and they're going to take them to their headquarters for investigation, obviously. But the eviction continues. There's also demolition ongoing. We noticed the excavator demolishing one of the famous structures that was erected in the party headquarters. That's the Munatech, the CDC Vocational Training Institute has been it's being demolished as we speak. It's being demolished as we speak. So we're going to go back over there and show you the demolition process and show you the action as it happens. And once we get an additional information on any discovery, we will come over quickly and show our cameras. But yes, the police have discovered, according to them, two firearms beneath the bed in one of the residents here in the party headquarters. Presumably, we cannot independently verify that this structure belongs to the Secretary General of the Coalition for Democratic Change. That's Jeff Koji. Unconfirmed information has it that the structure where the rifles were discovered was his residence for quite a while. But this is the famous Munatech building that is being demolished now. Let's go the other way. We are being told the officers are still, or the sheriffs are still executing their orders. Are still executing their orders. Now, come to think of it, if you noticed, right when this government, we are told, we still continue. We're still making our way into segments of this compound. Here in the back, there are other structures. Here this side of the compound, there are other structures that the officers, along with the sheriffs, are trying to break into. Still have police officers in almost every location of the compound. And there are other structures here that they are about or have broken into already, as you can see, if you look closely. So they're still searching. There are also Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency officers from the LDA are also here, along with the police.
So it's a joint effort here now.
So obviously it is a joint effort. The LDA is also part of this process. If you noticed, also in previously there were 2 rifles discovered by the police. If you have been following us from the onset of this broadcast, there was this particular building that the police found it very difficult to get into, fully secured, reinforced concrete, and of course, eventually, once the police entered, they, according to them, discovered 2 rifles and ammunitions, that's bullets for shotguns. So the action continues, tearing down structures for one, but these ones look like makeshift structures.
This one will be cut down.
And so Combat is about to use the iron.
How is it in there? Can you see the dark place? Can you see the dark place? You have to put
So the LDA officers are making sure they can make their way in there. Well, I overheard from one of the officers that this structure might be what looks like a ghetto, but we cannot confirm that.
Where is tension?
Yes, now here, 1 second, let me stay here. So what you just witnessed are efforts by the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. I don't know what information they have about this particular vicinity or this particular side of the party headquarters, but the Liberia National Drug Enforcement Agency have focused their efforts at the back of the headquarters, where we see lots of makeshift structures, and they are moving from one of these structures to the other, and they are pulling out stuff. But we have not seen any discovery of anything drug related, but the Liberia are focusing their efforts on this particular end of the building, and they are thoroughly searching. We might come back and see if they make any discovery. But let's show you the demolition process as it continues of the famous Monantech vocational institution, the TVET building. Is being brought down by this excavator. I go this way. So there you have it for yourself. The excavator continues. The excavator continues to bring down structures. And of course, this particular edifice was being used for TVET, vocational skill training. If you look closely, there are classroom chairs already, 2-story structure, and being brought down by this excavator this morning. So there you have it. breaking down the walls, bringing down the walls from one structure to the other. Earlier, there was the main entry that was being brought down, but now is the famous Vocational Skill Training Institute, Monatech, as you know it. So, folks, we still see officers here. This is the main. Behind me is the main HQ building. If you look close, this is the main HQ building, the main headquarters. But officers who are heavily guiding this particular building because the sheriffs are yet to make their way in there. And so once they start to make an attempt to go in there, we'll show you. But let's see. I think they've started already. So. So the sheriffs have started. The sheriffs have started to knock into the main HQ building. The sheriffs have started to enter the main HQ building. This is the main HQ building now as we speak. The sheriffs are breaking into the main HQ building.
The sheriff on this and John security is
Still attempting to break into the main HQ building. They're still attempting to break into the main HQ building. And there are another rooms. There are other rooms downstairs. So what looks like still demolishing structures. This excavator still demolishing structures. The excavator is still demolishing structures. And of course, of all of the discoveries that were made, the police discovered shotguns, ammunition, 2 rifles, several passports, some of which we've been told are diplomatic passports. And of course, a long stay, a long occupation, a legacy of approximately 20 years is being brought down by an excavator here in the compound of the famous coalition or Congress for Democratic Change. There is a pickup truck parked in the compound, and as the excavator brings down this structure, well, Demolition continues, folks. Keep watching, keep following us. The demolition continues, and of course, this is part of the execution of so, folks. The main HQ building has not been touched yet, though the folks have attempted making an entry into the main HQ building. But if you look closely, this is it right here, the main famous CDC HQ. And but what we're still looking at is the demolition as the eviction process continues. As the eviction continues, we're still looking at the demolition of structures.
So to our viewers, we are still here at the headquarters of the former ruling CDC, and this morning, Liberian National Police, the sheriff from the Civil Law Court at the Temple of Justice in Monrovia is currently executing the eviction order by Judge David Smith. After the Civil Law Court rule, and lawyer representing the CDC filed the writ of prohibition before the Supreme Court of Africa yesterday.
Is he going for the main HQ building? Is the excavator going for the main HQ building?
Well, we can ask you to that until we see the action.
This is what it looks like.
A lot of things you can clearly tell that.
It appears the excavator is going for the main HQ building. It appears the excavator is going for the main HQ building, Aaron.
Yes.
This doesn't only look like an eviction, but they are also demolishing some of these structures. One of the main buildings, of course. Yes. Do you remember this particular balcony? Do you remember this particular balcony?
Yes,
Let me just focus the camera quickly. This is the famous balcony on which former President George Weah shed a tear when he won the election. And yes, the excavator has gone for the main HQ building. The excavator has gone for the main HQ building. George Weah billboard portrait, breaking down the George Weah portrait from the walls and breaking down the entire building. Amos, if you focus on the balcony right here and just focus on me quickly, guys. If you know this balcony, this is the famous balcony on which former President George Weah stood and shed a tear in 2017, 2018, when the CDC won the elections. And this entire place was crowded with partisans, and he stood up there along with former Vice President Joel Howard Taylor in the balcony. And this famous balcony is down. It's being brought down by the excavator, folks. And so this eviction is also coupled with demolition. Materials being thrown out, occupants being thrown out, structures being demolished. The famous main HQ of the CDC is being brought down by an excavator during an eviction process. on the orders of the courts.
And Tony, what surprised me a lot is the discovery of lethal weapons in one of the buildings here.
So
Yes, I mean
the discovery of lethal weapons, of course.
yes, I'm a bit afraid. You know, this is a political party that just left power 3 years back and having lethal weapon in one of the buildings that Sherry took over 45 minutes to break through.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that baffled any peaceful citizen.
Well, the excavator is going from wall to wall, from structure to structure, breaking down layers of this famous CDC headquarters.
I mean, just last night around 8:05, this building, we heard the former acting chairman of the CDC having a press conference in this particular building. So now excavation is currently taking place. I don't know what will be the next action.
Yes, the demolition is obviously taking place. So the demolition of the famous CDC HQ is happening right before our eyes. Wherever you're watching and following from, wherever you're watching and following from. And so, folks, the famous CDC HQ is being brought down by police. The famous CDC HQ is being brought down. And on this push, or this balcony, which is famously known as the spot where former President George Weah stood, shed a tear in celebrating the victory in 2017. And just to bring a little reminder to you, but today, obviously, from a court order, there is eviction taking place. The question is, the owner of the property has asked the CDC to leave the property, and does the demolition also come with the package? That's a huge question. The owners of the property ask for these structures to be demolished. That's a huge question.
So we need to look at the evasion order from civil law court. Maybe the evasion order was in twofold: evict and demolish the property. I mean, the buildings that are on my property. So maybe I can sell or maybe I can build structure to my convenience. So we cannot sell. So we look at the.
It could be. And so now this famous balcony will go down.
And Tony, guess what? The lawyer who is representing the Bernard family, he wants to work for the CDC government, Councillor Sema Serena Sipo, who once served as a Solicitor General during the CDC regime.
Yes.
He first worked at the Ministry of Labor. Later on, he was repositioned as Solicitor General of Liberia, and he was later on sanctioned also from the U.S. government. Now he is the one who is representing the Bernard family in this case.
So, interestingly, former Solicitor General during the CDC regime is now the legal counsel for the owners of this property.
Yes.
And now he has won the case against a political establishment that he once worked for, but was also sanctioned by the U.S. government while serving his term.
Yes, certainly. And last night he appeared on one local radio station here, and he said the law is the law. Tony, the thing is, you and I can be the best of friends. If you're a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. We can go to court and argue case. When I win you, I mean, the law will take the court. That's how the law works.
It doesn't matter which political establishment you once worked for.
No, right now it's about the law. This country is a country of law. You know, even the CDC, who is the former ruling party, every time they talk about the law, they mention the law. So the law is blind. When the code rules, you have to live with what the code says. And after the code rule, the CDC lawyer took an appeal to the Justice Interim at the Supreme Court of Liberia. Before then, the immediate retired Chief Justice was there, And the full bench of the Supreme Court came, they listened to the argument, and they sent the case back down to the lower court, which is the criminal court, which is the civil law court at the Temple of Justice. And the civil law court ruled. The civil law court has ruled a couple of times in this particular case. So it's not just one, it's not just two. The case has been lingering in the corridors of the temple.
It's been forthcoming.
Yes, in the Temple of Justice for a couple of years now. And finally, the law is probably taking place as you can see.
So the demolition is still going on. You're seeing the excavator is breaking this building down wall by wall, crushing the roof, tearing the zincs apart, breaking the plank, the roof into pieces, dragging the columns from left to right, tearing this entire structure apart.
Today at this stage, we're at the hierarchy of the CDC. We are yet to see any partisan or sympathizer of the CDC at this particular stage. Last night, most of them said they will be, and interestingly, today at about 1 p.m., the CDC, I'm told, will be having an executive meeting here at this particular party headquarters. So we are still watching whether the executive meeting will still stand with what is going on.
Well, if you once came here to attend a political function, it could be for campaigning, it could be for cheering your favorite political icon to power. Well, that memory will obviously might be the last one you might have had in this particular environment. Structures have been torn apart by an excavator. And yes, Aaron, we look forward to seeing or hearing from the political establishment itself, the famous CDC. But again, like you keep saying, the law remains the law. I have not seen, though we have been hearing opposing views or statements from the CDC, but from what we're looking at, there has not been any retaliatory action. What was being anticipated by folks was that the police and partisans would have gone back and forth with each other today, throwing stones and tear gas, and people running helter-skelter. That was exactly what was being anticipated, but that's the thing what's happening now, except for this morning where we saw burning of tires at the entry. Yes, but basically, the police walked in here, I can say calmly.
Yeah, Tony, that was the anticipation from Liberian. The CDC is not any small political party in Liberia. I can safely say in Liberia we have two major political parties. You have the United Party and you have the CDC, which you cannot dispute. After the first round of any election, you see people will come and they either emerge with the CDC or with the current ruling United Party. So last night, based on a press conference that was held by the CDC and through its national chairman, one may deduce that yes, if the police come here this morning, they were going to meet up with resistance. But up to our surprise, even when we came this morning, we saw the flaming fire right to the entrance of the CDC. For me, I was a bit afraid. I was expecting to see a serious retaliation from the partisan of the CDC. But this is actually a different scenario. The place is, I can say, it is peaceful, even though there is a demolition exercise going on, but the place, in my mind, it is peaceful so far. I don't know about you, but for me, it is peaceful. I'm not seeing any retaliation for any partisan of the CDC, even though so far there have been 3 arrests made. The guy that was rescued from the water, and the other guy who said he was sleeping, and the other guy also who
occupying the building.
Yeah, that building that the police discovered 2 lethal weapons, and there are 3 arrests made so far. But the person have been, to me, he has been peaceful.
So folks, the excavator will take a little breather from shaking the ground beneath us, crunching on these walls, crashing into the pillars, tearing the zinc apart, moving the roof in all directions. This is the famous headquarters of the CDC.
And the bigger question is, Tony, where the first soil that we met this morning around 5:45, 5:50, that was at the entrance bringing more wood to increase the blaze of the fire, where are they?
Well, it appears.
Should we say regroup?
It appears the term regroup is a famous term in Liberia.
Yes.
So it appears they have gone to probably do just that. But again, Aaron, the process continues. The LDA is also part of this demolition, not demolition definitely, but eviction. They're also touring the compound. So let's go in that direction and see. There is a bag that have been discovered. We don't know what it contains. Aaron, quick. Have we been able to find out what that is? These are already prepared petrol bombs that have been discovered by the police.
19 pieces.
19 pieces of petrol bombs already prepared, as you can see. Okay, so right now they only need flame. And so right now, if you were to let.
So let me just show you single one so you can see what we're talking about.
All right, so the officers will show us just a single one. So this is a petrol bomb made out of Heineken bottles. So we got to come and take a step back.
Scary, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, this obviously might have been prepared with the intention of retaliating towards the police. But again, the way the police came in, if you look closely, there is a nail bar there already prepared.
But Tony, this is a political party. This is not any military institution to have a lethal weapon, petrol bombs, you know.
Well, but supporters have, their own intentions. Obviously, it might not be a political decision by the entire establishment to retaliate to police. But partisans, aggrieved partisans, of course, might obviously stage actions like this against police.
I strongly believe the partisans should listen to their leaders.
Definitely, I think that's where it comes in. But let's see if we can go a little closer. So they've discovered this place looks like an area where drinks were being sold. Some low spot. What could that be, please? Okay, they've already discovered ammunition also. So probably the police, another discovery of bullets. So the police will come to pick these ones up. The police will come for another discovery of live bullets. For handguns. These are bullets for handguns. The police officers now will take them into. One more second, please. One more, please. One more.
So there you have live bullets.
Thank you.
So why the police are not using hand gloves?
I have had that observation. This is a delicate issue, and I don't see any of the officers using hand gloves to hold all of these evidences that they're discovering. Previously we saw two lethal weapons. We saw two rifles, and they were being held by the police officer with his bare hands. no gloves, nothing. I don't know, but it's their job. We can't say how they do it, but in my mind, these are actual court evidence that will be presented in case the government of Liberia decide to press charges or pursue any case regarding the discovery of these firearms, especially where they discuss, where a discovery to be made as to ownership.
Yeah, Tony, obviously there will be a case.
Sure.
There will be a case
Raised.
from the government of Liberia. This is not a military institution, and you having lethal weapons in your possession. I think the state going to take some issue with you, and you will go to court. To clarify, your motive behind having lethal weapons in your possession. Knowing very well that this country, what we went through several years back, and you having lethal weapon in your possession as one of the major political parties that have lots of young people who are exuberant, who chant battle cry. Who have lots of energy. You know very well. So it's
one may say. Come to also think of it, of recent, there were officers of the emergency, but the Executive Protection Service who were relieved of their duties, and obviously lots of whom resided here in this particular environment. It's obvious government of Liberia might not have been able to disarm these officers back then. We cannot independently verify that, but seeing the availability or the presence of firearms and ammunitions like handgun bullets kind of raises concern.
So the thing is, once you were part of the military or even the police, and when the police say, hey, as so when the police say, hey, as of now,
okay, can we focus, sir? Can you? Yes, we appreciate if we have a glimpse of the discovery. There's also a discovery of another firearm. If you look here, it's a small gun. You can call this. It's being wrapped in the Liberian flag, and the police officer is kind of showing this to us. It's being wrapped in the Liberian flag. Thank you very much, officer. And also, so there you have it. The officer there. So there's an officer there who has with him a handgun. You just noticed the handgun. We are being told it was discovered here also with some bullets attached. I don't know why is a handgun being wrapped in the Liberian flag. That's a nice question. Looks sounds very it's ironic, but kind of.
Yeah, so like I was saying, if you were one part of the police or the AFL, whenever the police say, hey, as of now, we don't need your service anymore. If you have any weapon in your possession that was given to you by the government of Liberia, in my mind, I think it is clear, as a patriotic citizen to return that particular weapon back to the police or to the armed forces. And it should not be kept by you. What's your motive of keeping weapons when you are not a weapon carrier? That's a bigger questions. I think that the court will have to ask the tough questions so that MSOC can come up with those who may have this particular weapon in their possession.
So let's see if we can see one or two. He has already made his way into the compound. So let's see if we can go there. Though he said he's not taking statements currently, but let's just walk there. One or two himself. So Aaron, the demolition is going places. They have not only demolished the actual HQ, there are other structures attached that are being affected as we speak.
Yeah, certainly.
So let's see, one or two is going in that direction. We don't know, but you can show the camera around, Aaron. Sufficient demolition has taken place.
Broadcast currently live on state television.
Okay, thank you very much, folks. For those of you live from the studio who are live streaming also on national television, the Swishers, the technicians, those changing lower thirds, those uploading graphics, cameramen, all of you there back in the studio. We love to say thank you for live streaming this session on national television. We just witnessed the arrival of 102.
Thank you for being here for sending us the notification.
Yes, of course. Thanks to our colleague Fabien Quea. So let's now make our way in here. We are seeing, Aaron, we got a double up. We're seeing the 102 police, Nelson Flair himself assessing the environment, touring the grounds. He's giving instruction to his men, waving to his officers who have executed this mission or this on his behalf. And this is the building where the weapons or the arms were found. So he wants to know if his officers did search the building properly, but this is the building where the arms were discovered. One beneath the bed, one in the ceiling. And also the LDA guys have also discovered some arms also, a handgun and several bullets. But this is 102 himself right ahead of us here, trying to inspect the work his men are doing.
Yeah, so I mean, Tony, this is a very serious matter for me, having a lethal weapon in such a place that I believe to be the headquarters of.
So one good thing about this eviction, it's not necessarily about forcing people out.
Yes.
From what I look at from the police, in fact, the 102 is asking his officers to kindly find officers to go and assist one of the residents to evacuate the place. So it's not like he's being demanded to get out. But the 102 is asking that officers can come over here and see if they can help him out to, evacuate the place.
So, Tony, this place is actually in two-fold. You have residential, and you also have the party.
So there is the HQ right behind us. This one is the HQ itself, and then if you look around the HQ, there are structures. These structures are residents. And then if you go behind the HQ or behind those residents where we saw the massive structures are where the folks do businesses, shops and all of that. And then this looks like an exclusive residence for one of the party hierarchies. That's exactly what it looks like. Well equipped, highly protected, has the one side of the roof has solar panel installed, fully AC, and it took the sheriff up to like an hour to break into this place.
I'm also being informed by Fabian that GTV from Ghana is also relaying this broadcast for the national television.
Wow, this is quite a great news from our colleague Fabien Quea, and we love to say thanks to the folks there in Ghana from GTV for picking up this live coverage. That's the Deputy Police Inspector General touring with his men across the grounds of the famous CDC party headquarters. And amongst some of the discoveries that were made, 2 rifles, several bullets, a handgun, and we've also seen petrol bombs prepared by aggrieved partisans, though they weren't used. We also still see police officers at every end of the compound, strategically posted. And yes, the Deputy Police Inspector General is still walking with his men, heavily guided. So there he is. Asking questions. And while we still live stream to you here from the CDC headquarters, demolition, not only are the folks being evicted from the party headquarters, but their structures. If you look in there, there are chairs. If you look in there, these were some of the offices that were being used. This is the actual HQ building. Behind me is the actual HQ building, the actual headquarters of the CDC. This is where all political related matters were being discussed. This building is hosting the conference rooms, the offices of the office of the political leader, the office of the party chairperson, the youth chair. You think of all of the hierarchy of the Coalition for Democratic Change. This is exactly where every single activities was taking place. As you can see, there are chairs from the various offices that are visible, bathrooms fully air conditioned, and of course the excavator has brought everything down to ground floor from what it looks like. This behind me right here, if you come a little closer for me, Aaron, just come a little closer for me. Just come a little closer for me. Now, I keep repeating this. For those of you who remember in 2017, 2018, when the results for the presidential elections were being announced, this particular spot that has been broken already had the balcony on which former President George Weah stood and cried tears of joy when the CDC won the elections. And that famous balcony is no more. It has been brought down. Still here on my left hand side where the demolition is taking place. And let's just stand right here a little bit, Aaron. Behind me, if you remember, if you have been following, if you are a partisan or not, but if you have been watching content or videos from this particular party headquarters, that is the famous stage that is the CDC have always used to host key events that is being brought down. This is the stage on which former President George Weah will always stand and address members of his party or partisans. This is where he often joyfully danced the famous Booga music. Let's go and show you as it's being demolished. Now, there you see it. The entire stage has been broken into. This is the famous stage where the CDC party hierarchies will stand to address members of the party or address partisans. And if you look behind me, this wide open field is where partisans will stand and look in that direction at the stage and be addressed by their political leaders. But now, if we just flip the camera, the entire stage has been brought down.
So on this particular famous stage, the former Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Toure and former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Nathaniel Falomagio danced the Buka dance.
Yes, former President George Weah himself famously made the Kiss Daniel Buga song famous from this particular stage.
Yes.
This is where, when party functions were being held, they will come here and entertain their partisans, obviously, at this particular location. The stage is no more. The stage is obviously no more. The famous CDC HQ is obviously also no more. The excavator will now go to another location. I keep asking the question if the eviction also came with a package of demolition by the owners of the property, obviously. And so the excavator will go into another direction. Let's see if so the excavator is going gradually, but Aaron, if you know the famous sycamore tree in the CDC party headquarters that their former party chairman Moba Molu will always speak about, let's meet under the sycamore tree and speak political issues. Let's see if that is not where the excavator is headed. Let's see. we assume it looks like the excavator is headed for the famous sycamore tree. So let's go side by side. Let's go side by side with the excavator, folks. Okay. And yes, Amos, Aaron, it appears the excavator is making its way out there after demolishing what looks like the key structures, in fact, the key structures here in the CDC party headquarters. So let's see if we can go in that direction. It appears the demolition still continues, or the excavator might be making its way out. But no, it isn't here. It's making a U-turn. From what it looks like, it's making its way out. Well, it doesn't seem to me that the excavator is making its way out. It looks like the demolition still continues in this other direction, somewhere closer to the BMC compound. There are structures also that have been erected, and it appears the excavator is going to demolish those structures. And now we are under, can you show the camera? We are under the famous sycamore tree, and now as we speak we're under the famous sycamore tree. And behind us, if you notice, that it's where meetings were held every time the CDC had a press conference and a very serious political meeting. That exactly is where they will hold a meeting. And here now the excavator has made its way here, and it has started demolishing these structures already. And there are cables, electricity connections, all in this direction. And there you have it.
So, Tony, a few weeks ago, when the civil law court ruled regarding the eviction, we saw a prototype on social media, believed to be the new headquarters of the CDC, and that prototype was posted by Eugene Nangbe. And so we are still watching whether after this eviction, the CDC will move to a brand new headquarters where their partisans will once again withdraw and will have the pride and joy of the CDC.
Well, obviously it doesn't. And on the other hand, there are discussions that those images were AI generated, artificial intelligence generated. I agree, there's nothing wrong with generating the prototype of your proposed project using artificial intelligence. But also, question is, why does there have to now be a prototype because you are being evicted? Why hasn't it been a concern that this structure isn't ours and eventually we might be evicted? So, but again, you are watching the demolition of almost all of the structures here.
Yes. So one may say there is no particular time to construct political party headquarters. Sure. So it could be one of the defense tools. But again, we are still watching to see whether after this invasion, they will still move to the headquarters that we look at the prototype on social media. And since that prototype came out, there has not been a counter reaction to say, oh, this is not the CDC making. So one the CDCian or the hierarchy in the CDC are silent about it. We deduce that yes, indeed, it was a making of the CDC.
Now the famous sycamore tree structure, it appears the excavator is obviously going for the famous sycamore tree structure. And there you have it. There you have it. The famous sycamore tree structure is being brought down brick by brick, column by column, wall by wall. This is the arena where top political decisions were made. This is the environment or the arena where top political statements were made against opponents. And the excavator is breaking down the famous Sycamore Tree mini stadium, if you might want to call it that.
You call that a mini stadium?
Brick by brick, tearing the steels apart. Let's go a little closer, Aaron. Now, kindly focus in there. So if you notice in the structures it's built. Let's show the entire structure quickly before it gets demolished. And this is what the entire structure looks like. This is what the entire structure looks like before it gets demolished. This is where discussions are usually held in here. And partisans will usually sit up there and also sit in this other direction. And then right here, right before us here, they will have the podium. And this is where the political party leaders will speak from to address partisans on serious matters and also hold national press conferences. But now, let's get down because this place is being demolished. It's being brought down brick by brick, wall by wall, column, steels, zinc, all being torn apart. And of course, the ground beneath us is obviously shaking. And as the excavator tears these structures apart, and come to think of it, this is quite a strong, giant-sized piece of infrastructure, obviously, with lots of steels in the walls. You see, so where are you watching from? Where are you following us from? What are your observations in the comment section? Kindly tell us if you're watching us on national television, on your television sets, in your various homes. We love to say thank you for following. So the excavator will come in the other direction as the eviction continues. But Aaron, while the excavator continues the crackdown on the structures, let's show you what the environment looks like. Let's go on the road quickly. Now you can show the famous sycamore tree is being brought down. Yes, the very historic famous sycamore tree is being brought down.
There is a museum that was made after this particular sycamore tree.
Wow.
Yes. And every time when CDCian gathered, they always sang that particular songs to stimulate their appetite for their political party.
Well, this sycamore tree is being brought down. Let's go a little further, Aaron. Let's go to safety. Let's go to safety. The famous sycamore tree is being brought down. And of course, and while the excavator continues the demolition area, let's show you what the environment looks like currently. For those of you watching, where are you following us from so far? But let's come in the middle of the road and show you quickly. So behind me is the Oro Junction, and then precisely where I stand, there are no vehicles plying this particular route. And also behind us from the Painesville end, there are also no vehicles driving in this particular direction. The police have created barricade as far as the Catholic Hospital Junction. And then from this end, they've also created another barricade from as far as the Oro Junction, or you can say somewhere around the Invincible Sports Park, or closer to the residence of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But we also see police officers still positioned here along the streets. The joint security are still here present. We have officers from the Emergency Response Unit, officers from the Police Support Unit. We have officers from the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, the National Fire and Rescue Service, and you name it. So also right here before the LBDR, Lone Star Cell MTN, there are folks standing by. My colleague Aaron wanted to make a point.
Yes, so I have not yet seen any hierarchy from the CDC to accept or to have in his or her possession the eviction order from the court. I still see the file in the hands of the sheriff from civil law court. That's one thing I've been noticing.
Yeah, definitely, because during eviction processes, someone has to come and receive,
Yes,
the eviction letter or whatever, and before that happens. But it's obvious there might not have been.
in the khaki,
Sure, those are the
right
sheriffs.
right around that vehicle.
Yes.
That sheriff comes from civil law court at the Temple of Justice.
Definitely.
He still have the evasion order in his possession.
Can we see if we can tweak him a little bit? Let's just walk there closely and see if we can tweak him a little bit. So it appears there hasn't been anyone who has formally received the eviction order.
Yeah, but during the ruling from the court, you have both lawyers representing the CDC and the Bernard family.
Okay.
So which and I was present in court and I witnessed the ruling. Both lawyers were in court and they took cease of their ruling from the court, from the judge.
Okay. How are you, sir? How are you? How are you? Are you from the civil law court, sir? Okay, thank you. But is that the eviction order you have with you? Sorry? Well, if he, it just sounds out here. Yeah, yeah. Just say I don't want to speak. It's fine. It's okay. Don't worry. So we also see the police spokesperson, Madame Cecilia Clark. There you have a vehicle driving in. If you look closely, that's the police spokesperson there, Madame Cecilia Clark. She is yet to give the press an opportunity to hear from her as to the details surrounding this operations. We still see police officers who are here on the standby. We're hoping if we can have a word from her, but as it stands,
at this stage, law enforcers are very careful and not to make any contradictory statement.
Sure,
So yeah, they are still waiting order from high up before maybe the spokesperson of the LMP can come to make the position of the LMP. But until then, it will be a bit difficult to get any statement from any of them before it be used against them in court.
all right. So yes, Aaron, the eviction continues. The demolition also continues.
Yeah, so far being continuing to send information. She said the civil law code rule, but the Supreme Court of Liberia also there's several the Supreme Court ruled to us in this particular case. So this is not just a today or yesterday case. This case, like I've been saying, have been lingering around the Supreme Court or the Temple of Justice for a couple of years now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this isn't the first time that we're hearing eviction order or the owners of the properties wanting the CDC to vacate the premises.
And the ruling from the Supreme Court always reaffirm the ruling from the lower courts. So many, it tells you that the ruling from the lower court had no error in it. So once the Supreme Court always reaffirming the ruling from the lower court, it tells you that the lower court made no error in their ruling.
My colleague Aaron Talu bringing us more details as it relates to the eviction process of the famous CDC from their party headquarters. And if we just whip the camera around, this place has taken a whole different identity. a whole different look. This isn't what this place looks like a few or just an hour or two ago.
Finally, the sycamore tree is...
The famous sycamore tree is down.
Yes, it's now down. Yes.
The famous sycamore tree has been brought down.
Maybe there might be a very strong statement after this, and we are still.
I obviously will not doubt that the CDC will condemn these actions. Now, also obviously will not doubt that they will obviously tie these actions to what they might consider as political humiliation.
Yes, and last night when the acting chairman of the CDC, Augusta Jangakwa, appeared on one of the local radio stations, so every time they ask him this question, whether since the ruling of the court, why the CDC cannot leave the Bernard family property, he always respond that this is a political issue, and the ruling Unity Party want to fight the CDC. That's why he would say. So
this is obviously, I mean, this is the CDC establishment is obviously a political establishment, and as it relates to the issues surrounding this particular eviction, once questions about the eviction comes up, there are accusations that the party is being evicted by something that's influenced by their opponents, and then throwing direct accusation at the ruling Unity Party currently. Definitely. So obviously, I mean, this is void of the political conversation. You twist it whichever way, the folks at the CDC will obviously say that this particular eviction is politically motivated.
Yeah, and we are still hoping to see whether the CDC will still have the much anticipated and the much publicized gathering today, which is the executive meeting. Yeah, so we are still hoping. I'm told it will be around 1 p.m. and so we are still hoping whether that gathering will still take place at this particular ground, even though the evasion is currently ongoing. Whether there will still be a gathering, we are watching.
Well, we look forward to obviously a press conference or some press release that might come out by or from the former ruling establishment. But this is the famous CDC party headquarters that hosted several successful political campaigns, Aaron. Several successful political campaigns. We're talking several big national events also held in this compound, held on this football field right behind you, on this football field, holding thousands of partisans in support of their political establishment. Well, this is obviously going to be no more from what it looks like.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes, and a couple of months ago,
obviously, of course, Aaron.
Yes, only a couple of months ago, the former soccer legend, I can clearly say that, and former president as well, George Weah, demonstrated his dynasty right here on this particular soccer pitch. You know, every time when there's a gathering, unity, peace and reconciliation, every time he will come on this particular page, to demonstrate why he has seen it less. So, I mean, the last time he played there was 4 months ago.
Yep. Sure. So lots of history being defaced. Lots of history being defaced. The famous gate entry that had the famous CDC logo was the first thing to be hit this morning, brought down flat to the floor. Flat to the floor with this excavator that you're looking at right here.
Yeah, so this entry used to be the signature of the CDC. Yes, from town, from Pinsville, you see the signature of the CDC. And whenever you are approaching this place, I mean, you know exactly that there is a political party that exists in Liberia, and it's being hosted right here at its national headquarters. Name is CDC.
That was brought down in an instant by this excavator.
Yeah, I mean, history has also been made. And the CDC have been here around two decades.
Yes, up to 20 years.
Yes, so
2 decades of history being defaced.
yes. Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of the law, Tony. Whenever the court rules, I mean,
Yes, sir.
no mercy. Whenever the court rules, there no mercy. You have to abide by the rule of law. The rule of law is what made the country to be a beautiful place. And
the country's judiciary,
yes,
the country's legal system.
yeah. So I mean, today at the CDC, tomorrow it will be an individual. I mean, once the court rule, just will serve a deterrent as well.
Definitely. So this is purely implementation of the court order, the laws of Liberia.
And Tony, this is not first of a kind in Liberia. You can remember the famous the Fennels issue, the Fennel land case that took place a couple of years back. People have decent homes and around that particular property that belongs to the University of Liberia. When the court ruled, I mean, there was no mercy. The law had to take a course, so there shouldn't be people should not say it's not first of a kind in Liberia. It's all happening when the court rules, the law is being implemented.
The current ruling establishment, Unity Party, were once evicted from their headquarters in Congo Town.
Yes, and what happened to the now ruling Unity Party was when the court ruled and the landlord told Unity Party, you cannot afford the bill of this property. The UP, I mean, took for essay. Yeah, that's the difference. The UP easily took for essay and find somewhere else to move. Unless the CDC
avoiding humiliation of this nature.
Yes,
from what this looks like.
Unless the CDC, the court has ruled a couple of times, and the CDC still want to insist that yes, we will be here. And the thing is, for example, if you have your property and I want to buy your property, if you tell me no, you cannot buy my property, I cannot coerce you. Yeah, I cannot coerce you to say, oh Tony, I will buy your property by force. Once you tell me no, you cannot buy my property, I will not force you. So this is what happening. The court rule and CDC they want to by all costs get their property, and the owner of the property are saying we cannot sell our property to you. Yes.
So the famous sycamore tree is still being brought down, component by component. The excavator still whipping around, crunching onto these giant size structures, brick by brick, wall by wall. I keep saying that.
It's been done in bits and pieces.
Definitely.
From one stage to another.
From one structure to the other.
Yeah, first we witnessed the balcony of the CDC, and later on they moved to the Monatech and the late district number 9 representative, whom this building was named after. And since the construction and the dedication of this building, this vocational school, I can be corrected. I have not seen any graduate from this particular school.
Well, we've been told there was a batch.
That's why I say I can be corrected.
And now, Aaron, if you just focus here at this truck that you see entering the compound, this truck that you see entering the compound is a tow truck, and there is a vehicle here in the compound that this truck is about to tow. And they're going to put that vehicle on the truck. If you just look behind you, there is a pickup truck. There's a white pickup there, a white Toyota pickup. So that white Toyota pickup will be placed on this tow truck, and it will be lifted out from the compound. But we don't necessarily I'll show you that the excavator still breaking structures down. The excavator still breaking structures down. And ahead of you there, you have the famous Monatech TVET institution, the famous CDC HQ, the famous stage in the compound of the CDC.
And Tony, when the CDC was actually a ruling party, this place that we are looking at here, this particular sycamore tree, used to be the center of attraction. There was a mandate from the chairman of the CDC, Badem Moluba Molu, that every government official after work, you should make sure to assemble here at the CDC party headquarters. And we used to see partisans of the CDC every time we pass here. There either a football tournament and entertainment and talent show. Every time we experience that here, but unless today, I mean, the two are turned around.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a whole different scenario. This 23rd of August, 2025, and this and Tony, the thing is, the atmosphere is very quiet. If you, I know, maybe you notice that as well.
Yes, very calm this morning. We are closer to the ocean, right by the Bananas Beach, and the breeze is whistling from across there. Actually, it's actually very calm here.
It's not raining. The weather is cloudy.
Sure.
We are experiencing a little bit of breeze, and it's not too breezy. We are experiencing a little bit of breeze. It's not raining. There's no sun. I mean, Tony, you've been in England a couple of times now. It is similar to in England.
Thank you very Thank you. I mean, basically, you're right. It's actually calm out here. And come to think of it, even within the Congo Town environment, the folks who usually sell along the streets here, even right before the Lone Star era, are actually not doing business today because of what was being anticipated, you know. But again, that isn't the case. I mean, the evacuation is taking place calmly. I mean, describe it like that. But again, it's a little brutal, but that is not coming from the police. It's coming from an excavator.
So folks, we are still here. At the headquarters of the CDC, where civil law court eviction order is currently being executed by the Liberian National Police. Earlier on, there was a discovery of several lethal weapons in one of the buildings here, and the LMP is currently in possession of those lethal weapons, after which final determination will be made by the government of Liberia. 3 arrests have been made so far. 3 males have been arrested so far.
Yeah, sure. My colleague was bringing you up to speed regarding what has transpired so far since we've been here, as the evacuation coupled with demolition continues. So far, so good. There have been discovery also of lethal weapons in some of the structures. And so, Aaron, just if you show the camera that way quickly and zoom in a little bit, the vehicle that we spoke about has been placed on the tow truck and it's been shifted or taken out of the compound among several items that are being taken out of here. But again, structures continue to be demolished. Structures continue to be demolished. So, folks, most of these structures that you are seeing that are currently being demolished, lots of them were being used as shops for entertainment, business, refreshment, and you name it. But the actual residents were the previous ones on the other end behind the actual HQ. But also this particular event center, famously known as the Sycamore Tree, has also been brought down. Now, as the demolition continues, the eviction order by the court is being brought into full effect by police authorities along with the sheriffs. Now, this is a joint effort, folks. We are witnessing the presence of folks from the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. We also do have officers from the Emergency Response Unit, that's the ERU, Police Support Unit also. So this excavator continues to swing from one end of this place to the other, creating its own route to execute this eviction order. Well, as we speak, one can't say how far the conversation has gone already, but wherever you're watching from, it's obvious that the conversation is actually huge now. Folks are having their say across the country. Folks are having their say across the world. Social media is bustling with comments, with views. There are those who are in total disagreement with this particular idea, especially supporters of the CDC, who are obviously frowning at this particular eviction, coupled with demolition of structures here in the party headquarters. Like I said, 20 consecutive years, that's 2 consecutive decades of leadership, of structures also erected in the compound. They're all being defaced and they're being brought down flat to the ground after the owners of this property have requested the political establishment CDC to depart these premises. And the famous Monatech TVET, Technical Vocational Education and Training Facility, is still being brought down. This is one of the structures that were erected right after the 2017 elections, few years or a year or two right after the CDC's right after the CDC won the elections. This structure was erected from efforts made by its former political or party chairperson, Mobake Molu Jorion, who now has another civil society group, if you might call it that, called STEM. STEM, which recently led a mass protest across the city.
Can you call that mass protest? STEM protest that took place, I think 2 months back.
2 months back was a protest that brought lots of Liberians out, obviously. It might not, might not take that, can be characterized as a mass protest, if you may think. But again, there are several Liberians out there at the grounds of the capital, touring several streets across the city. And one will say that his group, STEM, can be considered a civil society group. But again, you all notice that they obviously collaborated with aggrieved partisans of the CDC to have held that protest a few months back. So it also sends questions to the authenticity or neutrality of the quote-unquote civil society group stand. But just to draw your attention, the efforts to construct this structure came from him. So the excavator is still digging in. Yeah, it's the shovel. Excavator still digging in. And breaking down walls, tearing the roof apart. And of course, very aggressive operator he is, claiming on the stockpile of rubble to execute this mandate of his. What we are also yet to see is the presence of any of the party hierarchies. Although there are individual partisans who might have had materials or stuff here, belongings here, have come to peacefully pick them up in accordance and cooperation along with the police.
The demolition.
And this demolition, of course, continues. And if you are following this coverage, it's being brought to you live from within the ODS Congo Town area, where the now former headquarters of the CDC, from what it looks like. Yes, obviously, there is also the Liberia water and sewer pipeline passing through. It appears it has been affected, and it's actually pumping water from that particular side of the building, but that can be walked on later on. But the excavator will now go in another direction. And so, folks, if you're listening to us also, we are bringing this coverage live to you on ELBC Radio 99.9 FM. We also live on LNTV Liberia Live. We've been told we have been relayed as far as Ghana, and we want to appreciate the efforts of the folks out there for making this coverage possible. So the main gate, still there is some work to be done. The excavator will bring down the police, the security boot. The excavator will bring down the security boot. Aaron. You know, there are folks who are still bringing out their belongings, so it appears the excavator will hold on a little bit. But from what it looks like, he's about to hit. And there you have it, the first hit. Focus on the camera, not yet. Don't go too close. The first hit on the security boot has been made. Starting with the beams and columns right here. The stairs being brought down. And of course, this aggressive excavator operator is bringing down the security booth. And this particular structure was erected right after the CDC won the 2017 elections. Lots of these structures in here are all brand new structures that were just created or erected right after the elections was won, just to give the party headquarters a facelift. So there you have it. It's been brought down brick by brick. It's being brought down brick by brick. Cracking through the glasses, tearing the steel apart. And the police spokesperson was trying to organize members of the press stay a bit further from this aggressive excavator as it digs into the walls of structures here on the grounds of the famous CDC headquarters. Well, now former headquarters of the former ruling party. Like, of course, obviously, Aaron, like I've been saying this morning, we have not noticed any retaliatory, retaliatory actions from anyone or from any of the partisans. This morning, we saw what looked like partisans, wanting to retaliate, though nothing of such transpired. The police this morning moved in hugely, several components, they divided themselves into teams coming from all angles of the headquarters. Early this morning at around 5:10, 5:15, I was somewhere in the back of the party headquarters along the beach, and I saw, a huge number of police officers, riot police officers, all posted on the beach, along the beach end, all posted in the back of the headquarters, different portions or different locations around this particular vicinity. There have been officers posted. Even now as we speak, if we walk into the neighborhood right behind the CDC party headquarters, there are police officers posted in those particular locations as this eviction process continues here in Congo Town. And this lady is standing right by once an occupant of one of these structures here. She just brought out a few of her belongings from that security booth. And obviously
she used to be in the media, Tony.
Yes, of course, I know she used to be in the media. And up there is also one of the centers for this, the media guys. Yeah, so definitely.
It's actually used to a security booth.
I know it's obviously the security booth, but at the top floor there are other, they were being used to showcase sometimes sites for partisans and all of that. So, what?
We are still watching to see between now until 1 p.m. and what will be the outcome. Ladner will affirm that today the CDC will be having executive meeting.
Sure, definitely.
So
it doesn't, it obviously might not align from what it looks like, unless they might use anywhere of the vicinity. But from now, as we speak, as the police are carrying out this evasion, what will happen will be that this particular place will be heavily guarded by security, beginning now. So there's obviously not going to be anyone attempting to evade. Definitely, that's what it's going to look like. As we speak, once this process is done, the police will obviously be guarding, or there will be officers, positioned or stationed here to provide security.
The only person I have not seen here so far from the police is the Inspector General of the police. So you have folks from the LDA, from the Immigration Service, you have folks from the National Fire Service as well here.
Sure, definitely. I mean, it's a joint operation. Remember the circular that was up where the government requested full cooperation from even the citizens themselves, including the very political party that is being evicted today. And this is a collective effort, obviously.
Yes, so Tony, could you just sleep on the traffic advisories that was issued by the LMP.
Sure.
If you are coming from Pinsville, you have to use the route around the embassy of the Nigerian
Sure,
embassy.
definitely. Like when we were on the road, I was trying to portray what it actually looks like, Aaron, because this particular vicinity where we find ourselves is heavily protected, heavily guided by security. There's a huge security presence. So I can guarantee you, obviously, folks coming from the Pinsville end will have to branch from the Nigeria house or the Nigeria embassy there in Congo Town, and then go on the old road end and drive on the old road, and then you will book eventually at the executive car wash to make your way to town. So basically that's what it looks like. This particular vicinity is heavily guided by security, and you can't drive through here unless probably under permission by the police, but it doesn't sound like something that's possible from the way it looks like. The way the place is heavily guided by security. Even at the Cali Junction, the security, additional traffic police officers are directing vehicles not to use this direction. But it appears traffic has been released. Aaron, let's see if we can go there a little bit. From what I'm looking at, it appears the traffic has been released. From what it looks like, there are vehicles now applying the actual Tottenham Boulevard route. I'm seeing buses, I'm seeing private vehicles now plying the Tottenham Boulevard route. So it appears the police have lifted the barricade that was somewhere around the Invisible Sports Park or the Executive Car Wash or the Oro Junction, if you can call it that. So we are looking at taxis, private vehicles are now driving along the main Tottenham Boulevard. So Aaron, we can now say that the barricade has been lifted from what it looks like. But basically the operation has gone into full effect. The police have barricaded, not barricaded necessarily, but have evacuated residents. Just a few of them, in fact, have arrested 4 individuals who, one fellow who was still residing in the building. One individual was still residing in the building where the lethal weapons were discovered. 2 individuals claim to have been deeply asleep, and even including the fellow who was handcuffed in the building where the weapons were discovered.
The first gentleman.
Yes, he assumed he was deeply asleep. He didn't know there was an eviction taking place. But again, just to show you now that the traffic has been, there is a free flow of traffic now, and you don't want to see the reaction of those in the taxis and in the buses looking through their windows and witnessing the action themselves. Kind of looks very surprised. Imagine, wow, this is the CDC headquarters and I'm driving by and it has taken a whole different look. The entire place has been defaced and demolished. Not only is the police carrying out an evacuation mandate or an eviction order, they are demolishing structures.
Yeah, so whenever thing of such happen, we expect to hear mixed views from citizens. Obviously, if you look at social media right now, you'll see tons of different comments, either against or for. So it should not be
strange.
Yeah,
obviously, folks will have their say. Folks are having their say, but we are driving by. We're here at the CDC party headquarters where the police are carrying out an eviction order from the court. They're being supported by it's a joint security effort, in fact. And like we said, the entire route was obviously previously barricaded, or has now been opened for a free flow of traffic. So thank you. So now the excavator is still demolishing structures here. The excavator is still demolishing structures. Aaron, tree. It's about to demolish this tree. Aaron. So an entire coconut tree has just been brought down. It appears they have police officers are now asking the aggressive operator of the excavator
Very aggressive.
to calm down a little bit. He has been aggressively pushing walls back and forth, breaking walls from, brick by brick, cracking trees, branch by branch, digging out roots, clearing paths with his iron chains, and defacing the entire headquarters of the CDC. Every building, every block has been touched, including light posts, all brought down. This is the famous CDC party headquarters. And now let's go a little closer and see. Well, he continues. He is not slowing down. He's
young
excavator operator.
Yes.
He is not slowing down. He's still breaking down trees. I thought the famous sycamore tree alone would have been sufficient, but no, he is still breaking down trees.
So this is a view of the.
This is what it looks like, folks. See the entire compound for yourselves, from left to right. Every building has been touched and defaced. And police officers are still sitting around, strategically positioned, and still keeping this compound heavily guided. And the walls of the buildings all tied by the aggressive moves from this excavator driver or operator. So he continues. It appears he has gotten a phone call because I see through his ears. He had a phone to his ears, it appears. And well, if that wasn't a phone call, whatever it might have been, he is making another move and going into another direction. Could be he's going to make his way in the back where there are other structures that have not been touched. Where could he be heading? Previously, the famous HQ itself. I mean, that building ahead, the famous HQ, was literally the only structure in this entire compound when the CDC took over in 2005. And in fact, this wasn't the place where they even came on their first entry for them to have had, I think, a party headquarters. There used to be somewhere in another location, but this structure was built when they won the elections, including with several of them that are attached in the back. So the excavator operator is here at the back of the building. It appears he's going to that building where the lethal weapons were discovered, Aaron, from what it looks like.
Still following the
Yeah. Well, yeah.
HQ.
Yeah, still, it could be he's still putting aside components of the HQ. It appears. Sounds more to me like the owner is like, I don't want anything or any structure on that ground. They're breaking down trees. They're breaking down mango trees. And
I'm still waiting to see the guys who were at the entrance with that heavy flame.
well, obviously, with the presence of police here, I mean, I don't want to assume there will be anyone coming out here with any violent retaliatory action. I don't want to assume so.
The the entire media community in Liberia is right here this morning?
Of course, especially live TVs, they're all present here. There are also individual residents who are showing their camera to capture the scene. Individual residents who are here showing their cameras, they're capturing the scene. But the action is on. The action is on. And Aaron, if you zoom in closely, behind the excavator, if you see that building, that compound, that is the residence of
The Bernard family?
Yes, that is the residence of the Bernard family. It's just both properties are just right by each other, and that is exactly where Archie Boan Bernard, former legal advisor to the president, also resides, and that's where his sister also resides.
Is he currently in country?
That I cannot independently verify. But the excavator is still bringing down the famous HQ. And Aaron, if only you can just show the camera and see the number of media practitioners who are here. Several of them lined up. Of course, very close to the excavator.
You have lots of memory about this particular issue.
Definitely, I kind of have a history of residing behind this HQ. There is a neighborhood here behind this HQ called Small Town, and I moved in this community at around 2012 when I had just gotten admissions in the university, in Stars University College. So every morning I would leave this place, walk through the party headquarters on this pavement that you're looking at. By then, this entire place was not paved, and I walk on the road, grab a taxi, and go to school. So this particular compound has always been open to residents of that neighborhood. You would just walk through and go wherever you're going. Though there were instances of some harassment and stuff like that. I still remember an incident in 2000 and I think 18 or 19 when residents of that neighborhood went head-to-head with partisans, especially those residing in the party headquarters. It resulted to police coming in. It was like a huge protest. The residents of the neighborhood were accusing those residing in the party headquarters of always attacking their homes, stealing from their homes. It became very chaotic, and the residents had to burn down all of the makeshift structures that you're seeing in the back of the party headquarters a few years back. That was not one instance. It happened on several instances, in fact 2 instances that I can recall, and it had to take the intervention of the Liberian National Police to come at the back of the CDC to resolve